Gospel according to Matthew, the Holy Bible, easy to read version. Chapter 25. Jesus taught the followers. At that time, God's kingdom will be like 10 girls who went to wait for the bridegroom. They took their lamps with them. 5 of the girls were foolish, and 5 were wise. The foolish girls took their lamps with them, but they did not take extra oil for the lamps. The wise girls took their lamps and more oil in jars. When the bridegroom was very late, the girls could not keep their eyes open, and they fell asleep. At midnight, someone announced, "The bridegroom is coming. Come and meet him." Then all the girls woke up. They made their lamps ready. But the foolish girls said to the wise girls, "Give us some of your oil. The oil in our lamps is all gone." The wise girls answered, "No, the oil we have might not be enough for all of us. But go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourselves." So the foolish girls went to buy oil. While they were gone, the bridegroom came. The girls who were ready went in with the bridegroom to the wedding feast. Then the door was closed and locked. Later, the other girls came. They said, "Sir, sir, open the door and let us in." But the bridegroom answered, "Certainly not. I don't even know you." So always be ready. You don't know the day or the time when the Son of Man will come. At that time, God's kingdom will also be like a man leaving home to travel to another place for a visit. Before he left, he talked with his servants. He told his servants to take care of his things while he was gone. He decided how much each servant would be able to care for. The man gave one servant 5 bags of money. He gave another servant 2 bags, and he gave a third servant 1 bag. Then he left. The servant who got 5 bags went quickly to invest the money. Those 5 bags of money earned 5 more. It was the same with the servant who had 2 bags. That servant invested the money and earned 2 more. But the servant who got 1 bag of money went away and dug a hole in the ground. Then he hid his master's money in the hole. After a long time, the master came home. He asked the servants what they did with the money. The servant who got 5 bags brought that amount and 5 more bags of money to the master. The servant said, "Master, you trusted me to care for 5 bags of money, so I used them to earn 5 more." The master answered, "You did right. You are a good servant who can be trusted. You did well with that small amount of money, so I will let you care for much greater things. Come and share my happiness with me." Then the servant who got 2 bags of money came to the master. The servant said, "Master, you gave me 2 bags of money to care for, so I used your 2 bags to earn 2 more." The master answered, "You did right. You are a good servant who can be trusted. You did well with a small amount of money, so I will let you care for much greater things. Come and share my happiness with me." Then the servant who got 1 bag of money came to the master. The servant said, "Master, I knew you were a very hard man. You harvest what you did not plant. You gather crops where you did not put any seed. So I was afraid. I went and hid your money in the ground. Here is the 1 bag of money you gave me." The master answered, "You are a bad and lazy servant. You say you knew that I harvest what I did not plant, and that I gather crops where I did not put any seed. So you should have put my money in the bank. Then, when I came home, I would get my money back, and I would also get the interest that my money earned." So the master told his other servants, "Take the 1 bag of money from the servant and give it to the servant who has 10 bags. Everyone who uses what they have will get more. They will have much more than they need. But people who do not use what they have will have everything taken away from them." Then the master said, "Throw that useless servant outside into the darkness, where people will cry and grind their teeth with pain." The Son of Man will come again with divine greatness, and all his angels will come with him. He will sit as king on his great and glorious throne. All the people of the world will be gathered before him. Then he will separate everyone into 2 groups. It will be like a shepherd separating his sheep from his goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to the godly people on his right, "Come, my Father has great blessings for you. The kingdom he promised is now yours. It has been prepared for you since the world was made. It is yours because when I was hungry, you gave me food to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. When I had no place to stay, you welcomed me into your home. When I was without clothes, you gave me something to wear. When I was sick, you cared for me. When I was in prison, you came to visit me." Then the godly people will answer, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and give you food? When did we see you thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you with no place to stay and welcome you into our home? When did we see you without clothes and give you something to wear? When did we see you sick or in prison and care for you?" Then the king will answer, "The truth is, anything you did for any of my people here, you also did for me." Then the king will say to the evil people on his left, "Get away from me. God has already decided that you will be punished. Go into the fire that burns forever, the fire that was prepared for the devil and his angels. You must go away because when I was hungry, you gave me nothing to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me nothing to drink. When I had no place to stay, you did not welcome me into your home. When I was without clothes, you gave me nothing to wear. When I was sick and in prison, you did not care for me." Then those people will answer, "Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty? When did we see you without a place to stay? Or when did we see you without clothes, or sick, or in prison? When did we see any of this and not help you?" The king will answer, The truth is, anything you refuse to do for any of my people here, you refuse to do for me. Then these evil people will go away to be punished forever, but the godly people will go and enjoy eternal life. After Jesus finished saying all these things, he said to his followers, "You know that the day after tomorrow is Passover. On that day, the Son of Man will be handed over to his enemies to be killed on a cross." Then the leading priests and the older Jewish leaders had a meeting at the palace where the high priest lived. The high priest's name was Caiaphas. In the meeting, they tried to find a way to arrest and kill Jesus without anyone knowing what they were doing. Then they planned to arrest Jesus and kill him. They said, "We cannot arrest Jesus during Passover. We don't want the people to become angry and cause a riot." Jesus was in Bethany, at the house of Simon the leper. While he was there, a woman came to him. She had an alabaster jar filled with expensive perfume. She poured the perfume on Jesus' head while he was eating. The followers saw the woman do this and were upset at her. They said, "Why waste that perfume? It could be sold for a lot of money, and the money could be given to those who are poor." But Jesus knew what happened. He said, "Why are you bothering this woman? She did a very good thing for me. You will always have the poor with you, but you will not always have me. This woman poured perfume on my body. She did this to prepare me for burial after I die." The good news will be told to people all over the world, and I can assure you that everywhere the good news is told, the story of what this woman did will also be told, and people will remember her. Then one of the 12 followers went to talk to the leading priests. This was the follower named Judas Iscariot. He said, "I will hand Jesus over to you. What will you pay me for doing this?" The priests gave him 30 silver coins. After that, Judas waited for the best time to hand Jesus over to them. On the first day of the festival of unleavened bread, the followers came to Jesus. They said, "We will prepare everything for you to eat the Passover meal. Where do you want us to have the meal?" Jesus answered, "Go into the city. Go to a man I know. Tell him that the teacher says, 'The chosen time is near. I will have the Passover meal with my followers at your house.'" They obeyed and did what Jesus told them to do. They prepared the Passover meal. In the evening, Jesus was at the table with the 12 followers. They were all eating. Then Jesus said, "Believe me when I say that one of you 12 here will hand me over to my enemies." The followers were very sad to hear this. Each one said, "Lord, surely I am not the one." Jesus answered, "One who has dipped his bread in the same bowl with me will be the one to hand me over. The Son of Man will suffer what the Scriptures say will happen to him, but it will be very bad for the one who hands over the Son of Man to be killed. It would be better for him if he had never been born." Then Judas, the very one who would hand him over, said to Jesus, Teacher, surely I am not the one you are talking about, am I? Jesus answered, Yes, it is you. While they were eating, Jesus took some bread and thanked God for it. He broke off some pieces, gave them to his followers, and said, Take this bread and eat it. It is my body. Then he took a cup of wine, thanked God for it, and gave it to them. He said, Each one of you drink some of it. This wine is my blood, which will be poured out to forgive the sins of many, and begin the new agreement from God to his people. I want you to know I will not drink this wine again until that day when we are together in my Father's kingdom. And the wine is new. Then I will drink it again with you. They all sang a song and then went out to the Mount of Olives. Jesus told the followers, Tonight you will all lose your faith in me. The scriptures say, I will kill the shepherd and the sheep will run away. But after I am killed, I will rise from death. Then I will go into Galilee. I will be there before you go there. Peter answered, All the other followers may lose their faith in you, but my faith will never be shaken. Jesus answered, The truth is, tonight you will say you don't know me. You will deny me 3 times before the rooster crows. But Peter answered, I will never say I don't know you. I will even die with you. And all the other followers said the same thing. Then Jesus went with his followers to a place called Gethsemane. He said to them, Sit here while I go and pray. He told Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee to come with him. Then he began to be very sad and troubled. Jesus said to Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, My heart is so heavy with grief. I feel as if I am dying. Wait here and stay awake with me. Then Jesus went on a little farther away from them. He fell to the ground and prayed, My Father, if it is possible, don't make me drink from this cup. But do what you want, not what I want. Then he went back to his followers and found them sleeping. He said to Peter, Could you men not stay awake with me for 1 hour? Stay awake and pray for strength against temptation. Your spirit wants to do what is right, but your body is weak. Then Jesus went away a second time and prayed, My Father, if I must do this, and it is not possible for me to escape it, then I pray that what you want will be done. Then he went back to the followers. Again, he found them sleeping. They could not stay awake. So he left them and went away one more time and prayed. This 3rd time he prayed, he said the same thing. Then Jesus went back to the followers and said, Are you still sleeping and resting? The time has come for the Son of Man to be handed over to the control of sinful men. Stand up, we must go. Here comes the one who will hand me over. While Jesus was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12 apostles, came there. He had a big crowd of people with him, all carrying swords and clubs. They had been sent from the leading priests and the older leaders of the people. Judas planned to do something to show them which one was Jesus. He said, "The one I kiss will be Jesus. Arrest him." So he went to Jesus and said, "Hello, teacher." Then Judas kissed him. Jesus answered, "Friend, do the thing you came to do." Then the men came and grabbed Jesus and arrested him. When that happened, one of the followers with Jesus grabbed his sword and pulled it out. He swung it at the servant of the high priest and cut off his ear. Jesus said to the man, "Put your sword back in its place. People who use swords will be killed with swords. Surely you know I could ask my Father, and he would give me more than 12 armies of angels. But it must happen this way to show the truth of what the Scripture said." Then Jesus said to the crowd, "Why do you come to get me with swords and clubs as if I were a criminal? Every day I sat in the temple area teaching. You did not arrest me there. But all these things have happened to show the full meaning of what the prophets wrote." Then all of Jesus' followers left him and ran away. The men who arrested Jesus led him to the house of Caiaphas, the high priest. The teachers of the law and the older Jewish leaders were gathered there. Peter followed Jesus, but stayed back at a distance. He followed him to the yard of the high priest's house. Peter went in and sat with the guards. He wanted to see what would happen to Jesus. The leading priests and the high council tried to find something against Jesus so they could kill him. They tried to find people to lie and say that Jesus had done wrong. Many of the people came and told lies about him. But the council could find no real reason to kill him. Then 2 people came and said, "This man said, 'I can destroy the temple of God and build it again in 3 days.'" Then the high priest stood up and said to Jesus, "Don't you have anything to say about these charges against you? Are they telling the truth?" But Jesus said nothing. Again the high priest said to Jesus, "You are now under oath. I command you by the power of the living God to tell us the truth. Tell us, are you the Messiah, the Son of God?" Jesus answered, "Yes, that is right. But I tell you, in the future, you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of God, and you will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven." When the high priest heard this, he tore his clothes in anger. He said, "This man has said things that insult God. We don't need any more witnesses. You all heard his insulting words. What do you think?" The Jewish leaders answered, "He is guilty, and he must die." And so some there spit in Jesus' face, and they hit him with their fists. Others slapped him. They said, "Show us that you are a prophet, Messiah. Tell us who hit you." While Peter was sitting outside in the yard, a servant girl came up to him. She said, "You were with Jesus, that man from Galilee." But Peter told everyone there that this was not true. "I don't know what you are talking about," he said. Then he left the yard. At the gate, another girl saw him and said to the people there, "This man was with Jesus of Nazareth." Again, Peter said, "He was never with Jesus." He said, "I swear to God, I don't know the man." A short time later, those standing there went to Peter and said, "We know you are one of them. It's clear from the way you talk." Then Peter began to curse. He said, "I swear to God, I don't know the man." As soon as he said this, a rooster crowed. Then he remembered what Jesus had told him. "Before the rooster crows, you will say 3 times that you don't know me." Then Peter went outside and cried bitterly. Early the next morning, all the leading priests and older leaders of the people met and decided to kill Jesus. They tried him, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate, the governor. Judas saw that they had decided to kill Jesus. He was the one who had handed him over. When he saw what happened, he was very sorry for what he had done. So he took the 30 silver coins back to the priests and the older leaders. Judas said, "I sinned. I handed over to you an innocent man to be killed." The Jewish leaders answered, "We don't care. That's a problem for you, not us." So Judas threw the money into the temple. Then he went out from there and hanged himself. The leading priests picked up the silver coins in the temple. They said, "Our law does not allow us to keep this money with the temple money, because this money has paid for a man's death." So they decided to use the money to buy a field called Potter's Field. This field would be a place to bury people who died while visiting in Jerusalem. That is why the field is still called the Field of Blood. This showed the full meaning of what Jeremiah the prophet said. They took 30 silver coins. That was how much the people of Israel decided to pay for his life. They used those 30 silver coins to buy the potter's field, as the Lord commanded me. Jesus stood before Pilate, the governor, who asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus answered, "Yes, that's right." Then, when the leading priests and the older Jewish leaders made their accusations against Jesus, he said nothing. So Pilate said to him, "Don't you hear all these charges they are making against you? Why don't you answer?" But Jesus did not say anything, and this really surprised the governor. Every year, at Passover time, the governor would free one prisoner, whichever one the people wanted him to free. At that time, there was a man in prison who was known to be very bad. His name was Barabbas. When a crowd gathered, Pilate said to them, "I will free one man for you. Which one do you want me to free, Barabbas or Jesus, who is called the Messiah?" Pilate knew that they had handed Jesus over to him because they were jealous of him. While Pilate was sitting there in the place for judging, his wife sent a message to him. It said, "Don't do anything with that man. He is not guilty. Last night I had a dream about him, and it troubled me very much." But the leading priests and older Jewish leaders told the people to ask for Barabbas to be set free and for Jesus to be killed. Pilate said, "I have Barabbas and Jesus. Which one do you want me to set free for you?" The people answered, "Barabbas." Pilate asked, "So what should I do with Jesus, the one called the Messiah?" All the people said, "Kill him on a cross." Pilate asked, "Why do you come to me to kill him? What wrong has he done?" But they shouted louder, "Kill him on a cross." Pilate saw that there was nothing he could do to make the people change. In fact, it looked as if there would be a riot. So he took some water and washed his hands in front of them all. He said, "I am not guilty of this man's death. You are the ones who are doing it." The people answered, "We will take full responsibility for his death. You can blame us and even our children." Then Pilate set Barabbas free, and he told some soldiers to beat Jesus with whips. Then he handed him over to the soldiers to be killed on a cross. Then Pilate's soldiers took Jesus into the governor's palace. All the soldiers gathered around him. They took off Jesus' clothes and put a red robe on him. Then they made a crown from thorny branches and put it on his head. And they put a stick in his right hand. Then they bowed before him, making fun of him. They said, "We salute you, King of the Jews." They spit on him. They took his stick and kept hitting him on the head with it. After they finished making fun of him, the soldiers took off the robe and put his own clothes on him again. Then they led him away to be killed on a cross. The soldiers were going out of the city with Jesus. They saw a man from Cyrene named Simon, and they forced him to carry Jesus' cross. They came to a place called Golgotha. Golgotha means the place of the skull. There the soldiers gave Jesus some wine mixed with gall. But when he tasted it, he refused to drink it. The soldiers nailed Jesus to a cross. Then they threw dice to divide the clothes between them. The soldiers stayed there to guard him. They put a sign above his head with the charge against him written on it. "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." 2 criminals were nailed to crosses beside Jesus, one on the right and the other on the left. People walked by and shouted insults at Jesus. They shook their heads and said, "You said you could destroy the temple and build it again in 3 days, so save yourself. Come down from the cross if you really are the Son of God." The leading priests, the teachers of the law, the older Jewish leaders were also there. They made fun of Jesus, the same as other people did. They said, "He saved others, but he can't save himself. People say he is King of Israel. If he is the king, he should come down now from the cross. Then we will believe in him." He trusted God, so let God save him now. If God really wants him, he himself said, "I am the Son of God." And in the same way, the criminals on the crosses, besides Jesus, also insulted him. At noon, the whole country became dark. The darkness continued for 3 hours. About 3 o'clock, Jesus cried out loudly, "Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani." This means, my God, why have you left me alone?" Some of the people standing there heard this. They said, "He is calling Elijah." Quickly, one of them ran and got a sponge. He filled the sponge with sour wine and tied the sponge to a stick. Then he used the stick to give the sponge to Jesus to get a drink from it. But the others said, "Don't bother him. We want to see if Elijah will come and save him." Again, Jesus cried out loudly and then died. When Jesus died, the curtain in the temple was torn in 2 pieces. The tear started at the top and tore all the way down to the bottom. Also, the earth shook and rocks were broken. The graves opened, and many of God's people who had died were raised from death. They came out of the graves, and after Jesus was raised from death, they went into the holy city, and many people saw them. The army officer and the soldiers guarding Jesus saw this earthquake and everything that happened. They were very afraid and said, "He really was the Son of God." Many women were standing away from the cross watching. These were the women who had followed Jesus from Galilee to care for him. Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of James and John were there. That evening, a rich man named Joseph came to Jerusalem. He was a follower of Jesus from the town of Arimathea. He went to Pilate and asked to have Jesus' body. Pilate gave orders for the soldiers to give Jesus' body to him. Then Joseph took the body and wrapped it in a new linen cloth. He put Jesus' body in a new tomb that he had dug in a wall of a rock. Then he closed the tomb by rolling a very large stone to cover the entrance. After he did this, he went away. Mary Magdalene and the other women named Mary were sitting near the tomb. That day was the day called Preparation Day. The next day, the leading priests and Pharisees went to Pilate. They said, "Sir, we remember that while that liar was still alive, he said, 'I will rise from death in 3 days.' So give the order for the tomb to be guarded well for 3 days. His followers might come and try to steal the body. Then they could tell everyone that he has risen from death. That lie will be even worse than what they said about him before." Pilate said, "Take some soldiers and go guard the tomb, the best way you know." So they all went to the tomb and made it safe from thieves. They did this by sealing the stone in the entrance and putting soldiers there to guard it. The day after the Sabbath day was the first day of the week. That day at dawn, Mary Magdalene and the other woman named Mary went to look at the tomb. Suddenly, an angel of the Lord came from the sky, and there was a huge earthquake. The angel went to the tomb and rolled the stone away from the entrance. Then he sat on top of the stone. The angel was shining as bright as lightning. His clothes were as white as snow. The soldiers guarding the tomb were very afraid of the angel. They shook with fear and then became like dead men. The angel said to the woman, "Don't be afraid. I know you are looking for Jesus, the one who was killed on the cross. But he is not in here. He is risen from death, as he said he would. Come and see the place where his body was, and go quickly and tell his followers. Jesus has risen from death. He is going into Galilee and will be there before you. You will see him there." Then the angel said, "Now I have told you." So the woman left the tomb quickly. They were afraid, but they were also very happy. They ran to tell his followers what had happened. Suddenly, Jesus was there in front of them. He said, "Hello." The women went to him, and holding on to his feet, worshipped him. Then Jesus said to them, "Don't be afraid. Go tell my followers to go to Galilee. They will see me there." The women went to tell the followers. At the same time, some of the soldiers who were guarding the tomb went into the city. They went to tell the leading priests everything that had happened. Then the priests met with the older Jewish leaders and made a plan. They paid the soldiers a lot of money and said to them, "Tell the people that Jesus' followers came during the night and stole the body while you were sleeping. If the governor hears about this, we will talk to him and keep you out of trouble." So the soldiers kept the money and obeyed the priests. And that story is still spread among the Jews, even today. The 11 followers went to Galilee, to the mountain where Jesus told them to go. On the mountain, the followers saw Jesus. They worshipped him, but some of the followers did not believe that it was really Jesus. So he came to them and said, "All authority in heaven and on earth is given to me. So go and make followers of all people in the world. Baptize them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Teach them to obey everything that I have told you to do. You can be sure that I will be with you always. I will continue with you until the end of time."